Good evening, everyone, and welcome to International Free Webinar. Thanks all who always join with us to learn and enjoy our international webinar. Once again, I'm Ummi Salma, core volunteer and head of campus ambassador in IGP. Before starting our main program, I want to give a little concept about IGP. IGP is a non-profit institution and its work on holistic mission. We always try to find the best trained speaker coaches from all over the world. We expect that you all have benefited personal and professional life, and we wish that you all are remaining with us in long journey. We work with students, job seekers, and job holders by giving effective training and consultation for build a proficient generation all over the world. Our sessions are conducted by globally young professionals. I'm cordially welcoming you all. Enjoy and stay with us. We have already completed 67 webinars successfully. Today, we are presenting the webinar 68 on pedagogical innovation and application on ICT in education. With three speakers, Muhammad Abu Hassan, Ikra Akram ma'am, Dr. Abdullah Ghafoor. So let's start our program. Today's first speaker, Abu Hassan. Muhammad Abu Hassan sir is a senior teacher of English at Early Intermediate Boys School, Bahrain. He is an MIE expert, a master trainer from Microsoft, and MIE fellow, Minecraft Global Mentor, and a Global Learning Mentor. Last but not least, we had been named as an ambassador for UN USDGs. Please give a warm welcome to Abu Hassan sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, my sister. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Nice stage is yours.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to thank you so much for inviting me to this spectacular event. Thank you so much for the amazing invitation. I'd like to thank the amazing guest speakers, Dr. Abdul Ghafoor, Dr. Ikra, and I'd like to thank all the participants who are joining us today from wherever inspiration finds you, and who are making our event a huge success. Thank you so much one more time for inviting me to be here to be a part of your amazing conference, virtual conference. Let me share my screen. For sure, yes. You have to know that during these times, we are all having challenging times, and there is a need, there is a must. I think that we have to empower all our students in different levels. We have to use technology. Through technology, we have to unlock the power of creativity in our classrooms, in the teaching, or even in remote learning, or even in hybrid learning classrooms. So let me share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Can you see my PowerPoint presentation right now? Can you see my PowerPoint? Can you see my PowerPoint?
Sir is coming. Yes, sir.
My sister, can you see my slides? Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm seeing. It's on the
perfect. First of all, this is a quick introduction about me. My name is Muhammad Abu Hassan. I'm an EFL teacher and researcher, and an MIE expert, master trainer from Microsoft, an MIE fellow, global Minecraft mentor, global learning mentor, Teach SDGs ambassador, Wicklet ambassador, Bansi ambassador, EU Code Week ambassador, and EU Robotics Week coordinator. This is a brief introduction about me. And of course, my title today, my topic will be about unlock the power of creativity through technology. We are using technology in our teaching processes and in our learning processes. It's just only to unlock the power of creativity with our students in different levels. Today, I am going to tell you more about how we are going to unlock and unleash the power of creativity with our students through technology, through, I think, 4 or 5 different apps from Microsoft, which help us as teachers and the students as well to better help unlock the power of creativity in our classrooms. First of all, I'm going to talk about a little bit about using Skype in the classroom just only to connect with other teachers and the students from different parts of the world. And of course, Skype in the Classroom has it changed its name right now and has become Global Learning Mentor Program. Also, I'm going to share something about Microsoft Teams and how we are using it in our project-based learning with our students to unlock creativity with them and with other students from all over the world. Also, using Minecraft in education, using Minecraft Education Edition, just only to unlock the power of creativity with our students. And finally, using the Flipgrid, not only with our students, not only with teachers, but worldwide. So let's start our today's presentation by having a quick revision about our mission as teachers. As teachers, we have a mission, and this mission is that we believe that if we wanted to change the way we do education, we have to change the way we talk about education. If we would like to change the way we do education, we have to change the way we talk about it. So let's talk a little bit about technology. And of course, technology nowadays, it changes the future to the better. So let me ask all of you, let me ask all the participants, all the people who are watching us live or even who are going to watch the recording after our event. Can technology promote and unlock creativity in our classrooms, in the face-to-face teaching, or even in remote learning, or even in a hybrid learning environmental classrooms? Can technology promote and unlock creativity? Of course, the answer is yes, it can. If I ask you about this, all of you, I think the majority of you will going to say that yes, technology can promote and unlock creativity in our classrooms, whether these classrooms are physically or even remotely or even hybrid learning classrooms. How can technology promote creativity in our classrooms? Of course, it empowers our students with the knowledge and with the skills and the motivation to create positive changes in both themselves and the world as well. Of course, we as teachers, we are preparing our students of today to lead or to become the leaders of tomorrow. We would like our students of today to be the leaders of the future. We would like to change the future of teaching and learning to the best. So technology empowers, inspires our students with the knowledge, with the skills, with the motivation, with the power of technology just to create a positive impact. We would like to create a positive impact in both themselves, in our students, and the world as well. We would like even to put power into the students' hands, not only students' hands, but even their parents as well. We would like to engage the parents in the learning and teaching process. Also, we would like to support our students in developing their digital skills by encouraging them to implement technology into their learning, whether this learning is remotely, whether it's physically or even in hybrid learning classrooms. So technology provides our students with the digital skills, with the resources needed just only to create, to invent, to build their creativity in their project-based learning. Of course, project-based learning nowadays is a must. We would like just only to transfer traditional learning into a digital one. That's why I'd like to tell you something about technology. When we use technology in a meaningful way, it leads to authentic and creative learning. It also can bridge the gap between countries. We use technology nowadays to bridge the gap between countries. It can empower our students in a big way when we use tools like Skype in the classrooms, like Microsoft Teams, like Flipgrid, like Wakelet, like Minecraft, just to better understand the critical issues impacting our communities and the people around us in the global or in the globe. Through collaboration and engagement in global projects. So we have to engage our students in global projects just only to, how to say that, to implement the 21st century digital skills in our classrooms. We have to implement, we have to empower and inspire our students with the 21st century digital skills, just only to help them create and build their critical impact, to help them become global citizens, to help them understand the critical problems impacting their communities and the people around them as well, not only in their own countries, but around the globe. And I think that by engaging our students in such global projects, we can promote creativity in our classrooms. We can help our students promote, we can support their critical thinking, teamwork, group work, even communication, collaboration with the whole world. Also, Microsoft helped us so much in this by providing teachers and the students with the tools and the resources needed to take action together, while also connecting with one another and building the skills like teamwork and compassion. So Microsoft, whenever we would like to use some resources or digital apps with our students, I think that Microsoft support us in this, in providing teachers and the students with the training, professional development training sessions on how to use technology, on how to implement technology, just only to help our students innovate and create with excellence. And you have to know that we are in this together, and we are here just only to support one another. And the more we support each other, the more teaching we provide. So we are better together. Let me tell you something about how during this challenging time, how we use technology just only in distance learning. Distance learning strategies to bring back to your classroom just only to unlock the power of creativity with your students. When schools were closed last year, teachers were forced to get creative, and they have to learn many things they can use when they are back to school. So the need to use technology nowadays is a must. When we are teaching, when we transform from traditional teaching and the learning process to digital one, to remote learning, we have to use technology most of the time, just only to keep, to get connected with our students most of the time, even after the teaching or the teaching hours, even during the weekends. We are connecting with our students just to let them feel relaxed, to engage them in the teaching and the learning process, just only by sharing the various materials, by sharing even digital exams with our students, not only with them, but with their parents as well. So what we have done during remote learning to unlock the power of creativity, I'll tell you something about how here in Bahrain, how here in the Kingdom of Bahrain, how did we face these challenging times, and what did we do during the remote learning to unlock creativity in our classrooms in the teaching remotely. So you have to know that the quick transformation from the face-to-face teaching to an online format because of COVID-19 has generated a lot of attention to technology. Now I think the whole world has a great attention to technology. All of us are using the technology like the one we are doing right now. We are connecting with each other right now, just only thanks to technology. Thanks to technology, we cannot meet, we cannot see, even virtually, we cannot connect. So we have to connect with each other. We have to be very close to each other. We have to support each other. We have to engage our students in, even their parents as well, in this teaching and learning processes. So all of us, we have to be with each other in this. We are in this together. And of course, whenever we are here together, whenever we would like the teaching and the learning process to be more engaging, to be more comprehensive, more awesome, more fun, we would like to bring the teaching process to we would like to bring to it some fun, some excitement, not just only technology. And I think that teaching through gaming, teaching through gamification help us so much. And I'm going to tell you more about gaming when I talk about Minecraft. So here we provide so many training sessions for teachers on how to use Microsoft apps, on how to use digital tools with their students to unlock creativity with them, to help them in the teaching and the learning process. That's why we transform the learning from the traditional way to the digital way using Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams, you can have so many things. You can have so many apps, so many digital tools in one place. So many, can you imagine that? Everything in one place using Microsoft Teams. You can connect, you can have so many video conferences with your students. You can chat with them. You can share various files. You can share even assignments. You can even share the various material with them, feedback, everything you can imagine. You can unlock the power of creativity using Microsoft Teams. Of course, we presented so many training sessions on how to use Microsoft Teams with your students, on how to set up your class team, on how to schedule your meetings with your students, on how to manage your team collaboration, on how to use the immersive reader, especially for those who are having some learning difficulties, or are having some, especially towards the English language. If you are having some difficulties regarding the languages learning, you can use the immersive reader in Microsoft Teams just to help your students learn the foreign languages using Microsoft Teams immersive reader. Also, how did technology help with our project? I told you in my presentation that we have so many we have me and my students, we took part in so many global projects. And of course, I think that project-based learning is a must nowadays. And the technology helped us so much in these global projects. We've been using Skype in the classroom and Microsoft Teams for many years. It helped us reach out to students and the schools, not only in our countries, but outside it. To have video conferences and share our learning, especially when we are going to exchange our cultures. We also use the Flipgrid before, during, and after our projects, just only to share our feedback. So before our global projects, our students just only recorded their own videos, like videos introducing themselves to each other. After that, sharing their learning with others. After that, we used Skype in the classroom and we used the Microsoft Teams to have such kinds of video conferences to share, to exchange our learning materials, to share our ideas, to share our best practices, to share our stories with each other. Also, my students have become global citizens who don't want to limit themselves between the four walls of a classroom or the borders of their countries. Can you believe that? We are using Skype in the classroom since 2015, and we have done thousands of Skype in the classroom sessions and hundreds of Microsoft Teams video conferences with so many different countries all over the world. No matter the time difference is, it's not a problem for us. We can connect with each other at any time. Just only we can schedule a meeting, we can set a plan for the meeting, and our students can connect with each other. And I'll tell you more about this. Of course, connecting with each other, with other classrooms in countries all over the world, allows students to understand and work with geographically distant cultures. And Skype in the classroom offers a great experience for teachers as well as our students. Such video conferences have truly and dramatically expanded the geographic boundaries of our communication abilities, making the world really smaller. Can you believe that? The world has become very small. Just Skype button. You can just only click on the country that you would like to meet, and as soon as you click on the Skype button, you can connect with teachers, you can connect with students from all over the world. We are using Skype in the classrooms for so many things, for so many ways. We use it for Skype lessons. If you are inviting, if you are presenting Skype lessons to other classrooms inside or outside your country. Even we used it for Skype collaborations in project-based learning. When you are engaging your students in global projects, that's why you are using Skype collaboration. Also in mystery Skype sessions. What I mean by mystery Skype sessions, just only if those students don't know exactly where you are from, what your country is, so you are having a mystery Skype location. Each classrooms, you are having 2 or 3 classrooms or whatever, and they are asking each one of them yes or no about their locations, and they have to answer by saying yes or by saying no, and the one who is going to guess or find out about the location wins. That's why we are having mystery Skype locations, mystery Skype numbers, mystery Skype characters, historic places, mystery Skype animals. We are asking about yes or no about animals. By doing this, we are promoting the critical thinking, group work, collaboration. We are integrating the 21st century digital skills in our classrooms in a mystery Skype session. Also, by inviting the guest speaker to our classroom, if you are having so many if you are having a big time difference, maybe between any country in the whole world, so you can invite a guest speaker as a speaker to your students, just only to ask him to have some kinds of an interview with him. Also, he can be invited as a guest speaker if the time difference is a problem between the two countries. A problem. What do you mean by a problem? A problem that our students cannot meet together. Maybe right now it's in the we are in the afternoon, maybe in your country at night, maybe in another country the early morning. That's why you can invite me as a guest speaker to your students, and I can invite you as a guest speaker to my students. Also, we are having so many virtual field trips. And what I mean by virtual field trips is that maybe you have some museums in your countries. You can take me in a virtual field trip. You can take me and my students. You can take my classroom to your country, to a virtual class, a virtual field trip, to show us, to show me and my students, to show my classroom, to show my country, what historic places do you have in your country. And of course, we did so many virtual field trips. We invited so many classes, so many speakers, so many teachers from different parts to come, to attend, to visit our country even virtually. That's why it's a virtual field trip. So by doing this, me and my students are traveling outside, our country, are traveling around the world, but virtually, without leaving our classrooms, without leaving our seats, without having a passport, without having tickets. We are traveling everywhere without having tickets, without having a passport, without leaving our four walls of our classrooms. And of course, I'm going to show you some of these virtual or even Skype lessons or even Skype sessions with different educators from different parts of the world. In the first one, we are having a Skype lesson with a Skype master teacher from Egypt. In the second one, we are having a mystery Skype with an MIE expert from Brazil. The two classes we're having a virtual meeting. My class and a Brazilian class. We're having a mystery Skype session. Also, I invited an amazing MIE fellow and a global learning mentor from the United States of America, Mrs. Tani Dumber, to have a Skype session. We had some kind of an interview with her. We invited her to our classrooms because we are, I think, 12 hours. They are 12 hours ahead from us. Sorry, we are 12 hours ahead from the United States. Right now, they are sleeping right now. And since we are 12 hours ahead from the United States, we invited her as a guest speaker to our classroom. It was the early morning in our country, and it was It was, I think, the late night in the US the day before. So maybe if we can say that it was Sunday in the United States, it was Monday in Bahrain. That's why I invited her as a guest speaker. Let's see this short video that shows 3 Skype sessions in one slide with 3 different countries, 3 different teachers from different parts, no matter what the time difference is. So we took part in so many global projects. The first global project is the Voice of the Future project. It was an amazing project with different countries, with different educators from different parts, from all over the world. It's a global project entitled or related to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Goal number 15, which is about life on land. There were so many objectives for this project. The first learning objective is to maximize our students' awareness on the importance of preserving and conserving the environment, especially the wildlife. Also, to encourage our students to think critically in expressing their ideas to rectify issues regarding wildlife. We would like to install empathy and to develop global citizens who are responsible for the environment. And the last learning project is to empower and amplify our students' voices through global collaboration. This project has a mission, and the mission of this project is together we can make a huge difference. Together we can make a huge impact, a positive impact, but we have to collaborate. We have to work together. We have one mission, 15 countries for 3 weeks, 44 teachers, 37 schools, more than 1,300 students who were taking part in this global project. It was a global project having 15 countries, 44 teachers, more than 1,300 students. It lasted for 3 weeks. And the mission of this project is together we can make a huge difference. And regarding our activities during this project, for first, my students made our Flipgrid videos just about self-introduction. They introduced themselves. Then they conducted a research about wildlife issues in our country, Bahrain. After that, they started searching, discussing, and brainstorming in groups to find the solutions to a very serious environmental problem in Bahrain connected to endangered species to save them from extinction by building a wildlife park using Minecraft. And so at the end, my students were super excited to present and share their ideas and the solutions for this environmental problem with Russian students, with Russian teachers, using Skype and Microsoft Teams meetings. Another important project using Minecraft was called History Blocks project with Brazil. I think that this project was one of the most amazing projects that we took part in last year. It's an amazing global project where we work together with our students to rebuild, to restore, and to preserve the world's sites that have been brought down by the conflicts using Minecraft. And here is the objectives of our project. The most important objective in this project is to raise our students' awareness of humanity's historical sites. As students learn through play, this is game-based learning. Learning through gamification. They can develop awareness about the theme and the preservation of these structures of the future's generation. It's important for our students to know about other cultures, to show empathy on global scale, and to respect differences, to recreate what has been destroyed for whatever reason, because of terrorism, because of neglection, because of natural disasters, or whatever. One last project, which is entitled Virtual Cultural Trip. And of course, we try to make remote learning more interactive, more awesome, more engaging, more comprehensive, more fun through participating in global projects like Virtual Cultural Trip. COVID-19 outbreak created a chance for us to meet wonderful international friends in the Virtual Cultural Trip project with 17 amazing teachers, 75 students from 17 countries. We learned, we shared, and we shined. We had a real fun and excitement together, working together, playing together, shining, sharing, since sharing is caring. And we would like to share the joy of learning with educators and students from around the world. Of course, finally, at the end of these projects, we provide constant feedback with all of us using so far from each other, being so far from each other, and everything being turned it online. In online format, it feels natural to send my students Flipgrid topics for each assignment and highlight their creativity, highlight their work, to empower, to amplify, to inspire their voices, and to engage them in the learning process, especially during distance learning. So we often use feedback using Flipgrid videos, sharing with our students just only to record their videos, to share with each us, with their teachers, to share their feedback, to share their learning achievement, to share everything about their feelings, even being at home, even being at school, physically in the face-to-face teaching, or even in hybrid learning classrooms. Finally, I'd like to quote Mr. Steve Jobs once when he said, "Start small, think big, don't worry about too many things at once. Take a handful of simple things to begin with, and then progress to a more complex ones. Think about not just tomorrow, but think about the future. Put a ding in the universe." And here is my quote, which is, "With technology, sparking creativity is easier than ever. With technology, sparking creativity is easier than ever." Thank you so much one more time for inviting me to be a part of this amazing conference. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I'm going to share it with you just only as soon as we finish our virtual conference. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for making it a huge success. That's all. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you, sir, for giving you wonderful and valuable insight on pedagogical innovation and application of ICT in education. You gave a clear concept about ICT on education. Now we are moving our next speaker. Our next speaker is
Thank you.
Ikra Akram. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Ikra Akram. Ikra Akram is a research scholar at Lahore College for Women University and serving as a visiting lecturer in University of Education, and also serving in Alama Iqbal Open University as a workshop research person. Also a member of EduClass committee as a regional officer and working with WABDA to educate drug abuse among youth. Involved in writing different articles and published at Authentic Research on adolescent stress. Please give a warm welcome to our ma'am, Ikra Akram. Hello, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am visible to you. I am audible to you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, let me start. Thank you so much for giving me this platform and inviting me here for such a valuable discussion and for hearing such a nice presentation. Today I will talk about the hybrid learning and the future of education with you and just present my viewpoint about it. I will talk about the assumptions and the principles of the hybrid learning and we'll talk about what is the blended learning, which is also the hybrid learning called hybrid learning, and the benefits of blended learning from an activity, subject, course, university perspectives, and we will also discuss the paradigms of blended learning, enabling, enhancing, and transforming, and affordance of learning spaces, and I will also present some examples of blended learning. Before starting this, we assume that universities values and seeks to inculcate the skills essential for lifelong and life-widening learning, producing graduates who will continue to develop intellectually, professionally, and socially beyond the bounds of formal education. We accept that. And second assumption is universities believe that programs, services, and teaching methods should be responsive to the diverse cultural, social, and academic needs of students, enabling them to adapt to the demands of the university education and providing them with the cultural capital for life success. Which I think so. We are just forgetting that culture. That's why I just added this assumption. And before talking about the hybrid learning, of course, I am talking about the hybrid learning and the future of higher education. First of all, I will describe the principles of higher education. The principles when we are talking about the higher education, we are mostly people that are here from the higher level sector, and mostly are the students here, and mostly we are having the teachers also and the administrators also. So, what are the we all know about the higher education and the principles also, but I will just put a light on it. When we are having the higher education system, we must have the institutions regularly measured and the published the retention, graduation, course completion, and withdrawal rates of its students, including those taking courses while distance education, the rates of such students to be disgraded and reported separately from the overall student population. The formula used to calculate these rates and defined and readily available. The institutions regularly assesses the satisfaction of its students and alumni and the job-related outcomes of its graduates. And also the resources, about the resources, the institution provide the necessary resources to accommodate demand and to ensure distance education students receive a quality education experiences. Distance education courses and competent students and faculty services are offered through reliable, efficient, and readily available technology, which are playing the important role in the COVID-19 situation also. And the disclosure, the institution discloses throughout its marketing and the communication accurate, truthful information about its mission, accreditation, courses and programs, services, policies, sponsor credits, tuition and fees, use of recruitment, incentives and commissions in its recruitment processes and other factors important to prospective and current students and other stakeholders. Uh, Other than these, the institutions should be accredited by the U.S. Department of Education, recognized accrediting agency, and is a member of service member for 20 colleges. The institution complies with the notification requirement of its accrediting agency whenever major changes as determined by that such agency are made to the institution distance education program. The institution maintains responsibility for the performance of faculty and program support staff supplied to consortia partners or outsourced to other organizations, including contractors who may not be accredited. Other than the institution should have students learning experiences, travel, physical blended and virtual learning spaces both, and universities and the higher education should have the constructive alignment between the teachers and the students and the administrators. should have the specific needs for the disciplines. And now I will get towards the blended learning. What is blended learning? Blended learning is a combination of face-to-face teaching and learning with online teaching and learning. It is a design approach whereby both face-to-face and online learning are made better by the presence of each other. Thoughtful fusion of face-to-face and online experiences combines the properties and possibilities of both to go beyond the capabilities of each separately. It is a complete rethinking and redesign of the educational environment and learning experiences. As we are facing the COVID-19 situation, we are already having the such type of designs in the institutions in the higher education, from the primary education institutions towards the higher education institutions. We are facing the institution in Pakistan particularly. We are just converging the system from the face to face to the online, and from the online to the face to face, and it's also just getting towards the blended learning. It is hybrid learning. What is unique about the blended learning? Convergence of classroom and communication technologies, transformation of how we approach teaching and learning, synchronous and asynchronous communication. And we are having the diversified range of learning spaces that are both physical and the visual. If we are going toward the totally going toward the technological oriented classrooms, then we are just having the quench for the physical classrooms, and we are having the quench for the teaching physical teaching learning situation, and for the presence of the teacher, which makes the students feel better and to understand the things more better than the technology oriented. And when we are totally going toward the physical classrooms, then we are having the French to have the just touch up for the technologies and to give students new spaces to learn new and more new to having the more and more new experiences towards the new world. And for seeking them both, we betterly could have the blended learning. When we talk about the activity level blended learning, activity level blended learning includes both face to face and online components. That is online debate and face to face debate, offline reading, and online classrooms. We could have when we are talking about the activity blended, we are having the face to face online components, and also the discussions on or the face to face or the online discussions also. We could have discussions, projects. We could have reflections, debates, topic posters. We could have individual response posters. We could have blackboard platforms. Then we could have student interaction, react to three responses from peers. As the result of these all, we could synthesize the discussion. 85% peers could agree with them, and other than having the collaborative product. Are did you agree with me? And after that, when we are talking about the activity level blended in practice, I just having the example of the activity level blended practice. We are having the offline and the online practice. When we are having the offline practice, the instructor's role is to allocate the reading and ask students to read required reading and post summary in LMS. And the student's role is to read the respective chapter which the teacher allocates them. And after reading that resource, the students should have some discussion on the face-to-face platform. uh, Many of you face it, and I also face it, but I also do it in my LMS account. But the students didn't read sometimes, and didn't reply to you at the time, and didn't having the discussion on the LMS platform. So skipping from that sources, we are having the discussion on the face-to-face platform, that we make it must for the students to read that resource. After that, we are having the subject and course level blending. When we are talking about the subject and course level blending, the subject level blending is one of the most common distinct face-to-face and online activities as part of the course subject. That, for example, we are designing the learning resource, blended approach, and if we are talking about the course blending, we are having the degree program level and teaching fellowship schemes also. Now I will talk about the paradigms of the blended learning. When we're talking about the paradigms of the blended learning, we enable the different blends of the learning as we are having the face-to-face and the online technology-based classrooms also. These addresses the enabling when we enable the blends, we just address the issues of access and equity and add flexibility. When we address the enabling blends, we include the same opportunities as we are having the face-to-face and online and in the blended learning environment. In both of them, in all of them, we are having we can include all the opportunities in one platform. We can enhance the blend, which could focus on incremental change to the pedagogy in both the face-to-face and online components. And thirdly, we could transform the blends, transformation of the pedagogy, make a redesign of the teaching and learning. For example, we could have online PBLs, we could have mocks, we could have gamifications, we could have co-ops, we could have flipped classrooms also. We could have many learning tools. We could use technology-oriented educational tools also. Here I have two models, traditional model and the problem-based learning model. The difference between both of them in the traditional model, we are focusing on the content and the teacher. And when we go toward the problem-based learning model, we are not just focusing on the content, but we are focusing on the grasping and the understanding of the student. We are focusing on the problems and the coach and the problem solver also. Which of them is more better in your point of view? Just put a comment there. Here I have just example. What are affordance? Now I will talk about the affordance. When we are talking about the technology is might looking towards the most expensive thing in the developing countries. As I am living in the developing country, the technology is just seeking as I uh, most expensive thing as we can't have most institutions can't afford it and avail it for the students. But uh, when we uh, when we see first something we have never seen before, how do you know what to do? An affordance is a design aspects of an object which suggest how the object should be used and determined by the context, culture, instinct, mental model, hyperlink text on the website. When designers make use of affordance, the user knows what to do just by looking. As when we talk about the design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. When we talk about the diversity of learning spaces, when we are talking about the hybrid learning and the blended learning, we have different spaces, learning spaces. We have the physical spaces. Physical spaces can be formal and informal also, and the blended talk about the virtual and the face to face also, and virtually we could have totally virtually as we are talking today literally as the on the virtual platform, and the virtual platform is also could be the informal and the formal also, as we are talking formally, and if we are just having a little bit presentation on the Zoom and the Google Meet with one or two students and just informally doing it is the virtual informal virtual. And when we are talking about the hybrid learning, we could use mobiles, personals, and outdoor activities also for the learning. Here I have the example of it. When we are talking about the learning spaces and its affordance, we are having the face-to-face teaching. Face-to-face teaching and learning, we can have oral communication, and we could use the oral questioning feedback to the students. I usually used to have the oral communication with the students also, so I could be I could more feasibly my students could afford it. So when I talked about the learning spaces, I could have learning commons, as we could have informal learning, and we could have discussions about the lecture peer learning. As in the example of blended learning, when we are having the critical decisions, we must set our firstly we must have to set our learning goals. Then after setting the goals, which is the basic thing, what we are going to do, what we are going to implement, what we are going to achieve is our learning goals. But firstly, we have to set our goals. Then we design our learning activities which we are intended to achieve, which we are going to organize to achieve that goal. After designing that activities, we just choose the technology that is affordable to the for the teacher, for the institution, and for the students also. After choosing the technology, we plan it. We are doing it offline or online. After making it decision, we design the assessment for the students. How what we implement and what we set the goal, we just assess the students' understanding whether we achieve that goal or not. To check the achievability of the goals, we just did the assessment, take the assessment from the students. Again, I am having the example of blended learning. I have blended example of blended learning, as I set the program with the name of postgraduate diploma in educational, which is professional and vocational education, and I just set a whole module for it as the content, and then I choose the approach for that program. I just set up the blended learning, 5 face-to-face classes of 4 hours duration, 20 hours and 10 hours of online discussion activities, and I will emphasize on peer learning, project-based learning, and learning-oriented assessment also. After that, I think so you all could understand what is the blended learning and how could we implement it in our institutions also. And after designing, how could we design our learning? We could, when we're talking about the learning design, in the blended learning, we could have problem-based learning, we could have project-based learning, we could have the authentic learning cases also. When we are talking about the project-based learning, meaningful project-based learning is we are just giving the students to the whole topic and just giving them the whole project that they have to set their goals, they have to set the tools for such for the and making the hypothesis and doing the experiments, doing all which they can do, which they want to do. Is the project-based learning. Project-based and the project-based learning will manage activities. Those activities should be meaningful activities, and then we give them to explore the topic, and then we collaborate with problem solving, and we could change the role of the teacher from the instructor to the just instructor, and we could just collaborate with them in the decision making, and the teacher should give the open generative task, and after that the collaborative decision making is made, and after that we report the project to the facilitator, and after reporting to the project to the facilitator, the project is named as the complete. When we are in the starting point of the project-based learning, when we are just exploring the topic, the students could have different internet connections, could use different technologies, could have different sources. They could use internet searches, they could have library searches, they could have consulting experts, and when they are just open generative tasks, they could have situated learnings, they could have searching, consulting experts, designing some new models and the theories, designing and experimenting, and also creating a new things as a website or different gamifications, different softwares, different things which they want to make. And when we are talking about the interactivity decisions, mostly people wrongly recognize it with the interactive and the interactivity decisions. Both are just different from each other. When we are talking about the interactive decisions are the situation or the occurrence in which two or more objects or events act upon one another to produce a new thing or effect. While when we are talking about the interactivity decisions, interactivity is the quality of being interactive. When we are having the interactive decisions while implementing the hybrid learning, we could have information access. We must consider the interactive learning. We must consider network learning. We must consider material development also. After that, we are having the information access. We could convey information along to the learner. For example, we could have modules. We could have PowerPoint slides. In both of them, we could make information accessible. We must make the information accessible, and we must give the PowerPoint to the students for the review also. Okay, after that, we are having the information access examples. When we are talking about the information access examples, we must have the announcements, weekly announcements to the students. We must have the scheduled documents. We must have the pre-specified and the pre-planned modules. We could have the pre-planned weekly topics document, which is named as the teacher lesson plans. Also, we must have the modules assessment document. We must have project assessment rubric documents, and for the information access, the staff information the institution must have the staff information as the reading list, and also the administrator should know about the lecturer's background and the contact details also. If there could any issue, so it could be resolved at the same time. And the resource, while talking about the resources, we must have different pre-specified websites which should be pre-specified before starting that program or the subject. We must have PowerPoint files also. While talking about the interactive learning, we must have the increased level of engagement with the resources also. We must have the search and review documents. We must have independent learning. We must have external links to the websites, so we could make the learners independent to search new things and to learn new and search new things and the new content, and to new and to have new experiences. And when we are implementing the hybrid learning, we must have multimedia, tutorial type activities, and immediate feedback. While implementing the interactive learning, we are having the examples of the problem-based learning cases, problem-based learning videos. We could have interactive concept maps, synchronized and audio lectures and PowerPoint slides, files, online surveys, online encyclopedia, Wikipedia, encyclopedia of educational technologies. And while talking about the network learning, network learning provides communication between the students and the teachers. We are having a complete network between the students and the teachers, and the between the different students and between the administrators. And when we are talking about the network learning, we must have the announcements, and we must have one-way communication in BB and Big Blue button, and we must have one-to-one or one-to-many email addresses. We must have different groups of emails. We must have different debates on the social construction of knowledge and social experiences of the students also. In the network learning, we could have 4 online discussion groups related to module readings. We could have two in-class discussion groups. We could have discussion forums on module related questions. We could have group spaces for projects. For the material development for the hybrid learning, when we are developing the material for it, we must consider the portfolios of the students. We must make a concept map and the project. We must have the digital stories. We must have different reports on it. We must have photographs, videos, and audios. When we are talking about material development, the group project provided an opportunity to apply principles and skills in a module to create a learning resource. For example, we must have need analysis, concept maps. Need analysis is mostly ignored by the institutions. That is mostly the part of that material development. We must have video, photos, reports, presentations also. While talking about the material development, we must have the authentic task. Then we must have the specified rubrics. Then we have to do the need analysis, what we are going to do, and where is the need for it, and how we can cater those needs. And after that, we must have the concept map, what we are going to do, and how we are going to implement it. Then we must have the student's presentation on it, and for that, when we are doing the when we are at the starting point, we are just creating the rubrics. We must have the feedback from the students, whether it is oral or the written, or written or oral, or we could have the interviews from the students. And after that, when we are just doing the need analysis, we must have feedback from the written feedback from the teachers on the learning resources and the content matter and the methodology. And when we are talking about the concept maps, we must have the written feedback from the teachers also on it. We must have feedback forward from about the learning resources, about the content material, about the methodology, about the assessment, because teacher is the basic part of that whole teaching learning process, which is going to implement all those things, and which is handling all that situation on that point. And after, when we are talking about the student presentations, we must have the teacher feedback, verbal, peer feedback, verbals, and we must have need analysis, concept maps, digital learning resource reports. And concludingly, we when we are talking about the blended learning is a combination of face-to-face teaching and learning, while online teaching and learning. We are having the examples of blended learning includes problem-based, project-based, and authentic learning tasks. We must benefit the blended learning as found from an activity, subject course, and university perspectives. We must paradigms of blended learning includes enabling, enhancing, transforming, and when we are talking about the e-learning and the blended learning in the terms of personalization of education, this issue is controversial as classroom training allows learners to interact face to face with the instructors or the tutors and other learners in the live environment, whereas learners have to depend on electronic media to interact with the course in e-learning. There is always somebody in the classroom to motivate and assess the performance of the learners in the classroom, whereas learners are required to be self-driven and a self-disciplined to enjoy all the benefits of e-learning. Thus, to e-learning or not to e-learn depends on one's requirement and approach towards learning. Although online training resembles many features of classroom training, it also has some unique attributes. The role of the instructors also differs. All these means that learning and development professionals need to alter their teaching styles, learn new skills, use different methods, master design, and develop tools, and move away from an instructor-centered methodology to an learner-centered environment. Hopefully, you all enjoy my presentation and learn new things from it. Thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for giving me this such nice and interactive platform here.
That's amazing, man. Thanks for your valuable insight on hybrid learning and the future of education. We learned a lot, and I think audience have liked your presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me stop my screen share.
Now it is time to moving our next speaker, Dr. Abdul Ghaffur. Dr. Abdul Ghaffur is an associate professor in State Islamic Institute, Madura, Indonesia, and also editor-in-chief of Okhara Journal of Language and Literature and as a reviewer in Civil Journal in Indonesia. Many of his articles already published in National Journal in Indonesia and several books of language teaching already published since 2004. Besides, he is also an assessor of National Accreditation Institution of Senior High School in East of Java. Please give a warm welcome to Sir. Hello, Sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening from Indonesia. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thanks the committee who already give us chance to present the material with the title Pedagogical Innovation and Application of ICT in Education. Okay, let me share my presentations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in this occasion, I would like to share the pedagogical innovation application of ICT in education. Um, First of all, I would like to um, introduce myself. Yeah, it is my personal profile as a senior lecturer in the State Islamic Institute of Madura, and also as an editor-in-chief, as already explained by um, the moderators. Okay, let me jump up to presentations. What will be covered is in my presentation. First one, I would like to express my feeling dealing with pedagogical innovations, and then what teachers should do, and then ICT in education and becoming innovative teachers. Yeah, for the first one, we are going to talk about what is actually pedagogical innovations. Yeah, um, pedagogical innovation is something that relates to the teachers or teaching or something that done by the teachers in doing their teaching learning process, and it will be concerning to the method and the theory of teaching itself, and then um, pedagogical innovation also the method that used in the classroom. I mean this kind of method that we use as a teacher in any kind of method that is suitable with the material, with the situation of the class, and also with the situation of the atmosphere of the class and the student itself. Yeah, when we talk about pedagogy itself, yeah, pedagogy is a term that refers to the method of how teacher teach in theory, in the practice, and also pedagogy is formed by an educator's teaching belief and concern the interplay between culture and different ways to learn in order to help the student to build a prior learning, meaningful classroom relationship that it must be accessed. The pedagogy itself refers to the study of the teaching approaches and how they evaluate learners. I mean, a carefully considered pedagogy itself is essential in enabling students to learn more effectively and can help them in developing high order thinking skill. There are four common of pedagogy that appears in the process of the teaching itself. The first one will be talking about the social. I mean, education such as supporting social development. The second one is critical. I mean, the deconstructing normative perspective, culturally for the third one, responsive, encouraging the sharing of diverse backgrounds and experiences, and some projects on developing intellectual and social skill to live in a democratic society. When we talk about the pedagogy itself, we are going to talk about the objective on the innovative pedagogically actually. I mean here, in the using of pedagogical innovation to improve practice as a teachers, in the using there any kind of strategies that could help the student. I mean how the teachers delivering the material so that their student will be understand enough with the material given by the teacher. And it will be leaving a strong mark on learning action and then improving to return on the investment of training action. So in this case, the pedagogy in educational vernacular has gained currency, a substitute for method of instrument or instruction or technique in teaching. This kind of part of misperception that teaching is a technically activity on this instrument understanding of pedagogy that rationalize and reduce the work of teaching to a universally applicable skill set. I mean, it is as a result the scientific pursuit of pedagogy that often include the intimate choices and instruction that alternatively constitute instruction. However, considering that teaching is a situated and reflective activity requiring teachers judgment in representing event or practice, that is why the curricular and instructional decisions are made as much as part of pedagogy as their outwardly visible method or approach that ultimately taken. Yeah. On the pedagogy, it will be, sorry, in the pedagogy itself on the teaching, okay, it will be in fact the whole behavior. I mean, when we are as a teacher choosing a strategy or a method, it will be affect the whole behavior of the child by virtue of enhancing cognitive store, making him aware of that store and improving cognitive store. Teaching
Hello,
should
sir.
result.
Hello.
Yep. Yeah.
Sir, I think slide is not moving.
Oh, it is moving.
No,
Um.
in screen, slide is the phrase on the first slide. Pedagogical innovation application of
Oh,
ICT in
sorry.
education.
In mine will be pedagogy and teachings.
Yeah, we can see
Okay.
the slide.
Okay. I just want to start to try.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. Hiwa? Is it moving?
No, sir. Just change and click on next button, then I can check.
It in mine will be the sixth slide.
Is pedagogy and teaching in the first point.
Yeah, pedagogy and teaching.
Yeah. Then move for the next slide. Then
Okay. Is it moving?
yeah. Now is it moving? So
Okay.
you have to
Yeah.
click. You
Yeah.
have to click.
Okay. I have to explain for the first one. Okay. Okay. I'm not finished
Oh,
explaining this one.
okay, sir. No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. As a teaching learning process, it is a movement from receiving to internalization to automatizations. I mean, this kind of content delivered effectively to the learner's mind by a virtue of pedagogy. Okay, as a teachers, there are so many there are so many of strategies that should be chosen by them. On the context of pedagogy itself, as I told you just now, that it is such kind of the process of the teachers done on finishing the jobs as the duty as a teachers, choosing the teaching strategies. There are so many kind of teaching strategies that could be used by the teachers itself. The second one, we are going to talk about the teaching approach. In this case, the teacher should be clever enough in knowing in knowing the atmosphere of the classroom, so that the teaching learning process will be better in running the delivering of material. And then the teaching methods and model. And the next one will be teaching behaviors. And then teaching style. And the last one will be teaching device. That's one that we call the using of ICD in our teaching learning process for today. Yeah, why should be ICD? Why should be ICD? As ICD evolve as a fast rate and become more and more integrated into every aspect of daily life. And teaching and learning professionals are challenged with the task of successfully integrating ICT into educations. Okay. For this seventh, the teaching skill, process, and also the attitude of the teacher itself. And then the teaching aids that used by the teachers to deliver any kind of the material that's suitable for the student in that material of teaching. Okay, well, for the teaching model, there are so many kind of item here. The form of prescriptive and plain of teaching. The first one, information processing on model. In this case, when we are going to express any kind of material dealing with the context of pedagogy, it is also sharing a aesthetic concern with the artist. I mean, in the same manner that an artist carve a piece of wood, we are as a teachers, as an artist in front of the class, as a model in front of the class, so that when we are going to give any kind of informations dealing with the material for the student, it means that it should be good enough for them. And then the personal model. Okay, the personal model here will be dealing with any kind of strategy used for the teacher when we are choosing any kind of study in teaching learning. And then social interactions model, it will be dealing with the cooperative learning. Cooperative learning, that there are so many kind of items as explained by Spencer Kagan in his book, dealing with such kind of jigsaw learning, and then number have togethers, and and any kind of item that explained by Spencer Kagan. And the next one will be behaviors on modifications model. Okay, this kind of model, such kind of inductive thinking model, as developed by Hilda Taba, concept attainment model by Jen Browners, mnemonics model by Mescal Presley, and then advanced model David Oswald, inquiry training model Richard Schumann, and also synaesthetic by William G. Gardens. Okay, it is just an example of the model that could be applied by the teachers in delivering the material in class. Okay, what about the teaching skill? Yeah, the planning skill will be dealing with the writing instructional objective, how the teachers choosing the methods and also the activities and also the technique, okay, on the teaching learning material. And then talking about the present skill, how the teachers could be introduced the material with the kind of fluency in questioning, probing questioning, stimulus variations, explaining, and also reinforcement on using Blackboard, pupil participation, and ICT scale. Yeah, in the context of ICT skill, it is something not all the teachers use this kind of item on ICT skill for today. Okay, I just give you an example when the pandemic for such kind of today. Such for me, it is such kind of blessing in disguise for several teachers in the suburban. Yeah, because of the smart devices and also the infrastructure that not support them to teach. Okay, and it is need such kind of special skill to knowing about the ICT skill itself, the culture, evolution, and also the managerial skill, classroom management, how the teachers manage the class by using such kind of usage and others. And yeah, as already explained by my brother Abu Hassan, that the concept of management of the class in online learning. Okay, achieving closures, recognizing attendance, behaviors, and also evaluation. Okay, for today, we have to be sure. Yeah, we
So
have
sorry
to
for
be
this
sure.
step. So
Yeah.
sorry for this step. Still, slide is not moving.
Oh, what's wrong?
I don't know, sir.
But mine is moving. But
You
mine
can
is moving.
sir, you can make it full screen or reading mode. Like you can click on F5 for full screen, or you can
Okay.
click on reading mode also.
Okay. It is full. Really
No,
full.
no,
No.
sir. No.
Oh, what's wrong here? Okay, just try to start from the first ones. Does it works?
No, sir. Still not.
Oh, I got a problem with this ones. But mine is running.
So you can do one thing that after presenting the one slide, when you're moving to another one, then click on the left side. On your left side, click on the next side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's now
Is it
11.
running?
No, sir. No, it's
Yeah,
freeze. It's now in freeze mode. So when you are presenting the 11 number of 11 slides,
yeah.
after
Okay.
presenting 11, then click on at the left side, click on 12, number 12.
Okay.
Then
Is it the 11 slide? Is it clear?
is it clear? But not in full
Okay.
screen.
Yep. Okay.
Uh,
I continue to explain. Yep. For today, we are living in a 4.0 era that actually we are doing the proliferation of ICT that should be used by the teachers. I mean, the ICT available and the very nature of teaching and learning use any kind of smart devices. This can sometimes seem like a daunting and complex task. However, by developing your ICT skill and combining them with your existing pedagogical skill, you will be able to use ICT in countless ways to support you in your teaching learning process. Yeah. In the beginning of the era, education on 1.0, we have to know that the teacher will be the authoritarians. The student is the past recipient. The teacher centers no technology use. So in this case, the teacher only use such kind of blackboard at that time. Okay. And for the education on 2.0, the learners is communicating everything, collaborating, and talking with the friend in the class. So in this case, the model of teaching at that time by using project or inquiry based learning. And then um, for 3.0, the model of teaching will be different each other. I mean, the learners as connectors. So in this case, the teachers try just as facilitators in the class. So in this case, how to collaborate them in the class itself. And then for today, we could give such kind of differentiation on the first one, on the beginning of their educational 1.0, the teaching learning process dealing with the lectures and also memorizations. We have to at that time, the teacher give the material, and then the material will be memorized by the student. The second one's on the 2.0, the enable learning. Yeah, it will develop in others. Then knowledge producing education, and for today innovative producing on the education itself. So it will be depend on us as a teachers how to develop our teaching learning process. Yeah, there are so many kind of smart device around us, as already explained by my brother Dr. Abu Hassan, dealing with smart devices itself. So it is something that important for us today as a teachers on applying any kind of smart devices itself in the process of teaching and learning in class. Yeah, how to become an innovative teachers. The first one, this is just that kind of an example. Live streaming your teaching. Yeah, for today there are so many kind of teacher who record the teaching learning process and then submit. Okay, and then uploading in and the YouTube, and then we have to consider how the teaching, the process of teaching, and then the student are far away from the class are knowing the material. And then school to school learning, what is by Skype, problem based, project based learning, and podcasting, local project, and others, as already explained by Dr. Abu Hassan. Okay, and the next one, 3D printing, consider smart board thinking link, self-directed learning, consider teach staff on as RDL model, self-directed learning. Okay. The next one refers gamification, considers to replacing latest grade in your school, and also virtual reality, consider Headshot 5, Google Cardboard, okay, and any other kind of application that support in our teaching learning process. Adapting learning algorithm, consider apps like Noji, mobile learning, consider place-based education, project-based learning, and any other kind of model. And the next one will be make a thinker. Consider think link, coding, making extra competition and others kind of what's that? Online quiz and others. And the last one, let student questionings guide everything. I think that's all my material. I back to our moderator. Thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, moderators. I back to you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir, for giving a valuable insight on pedagogical innovation and application of ICT in education. It is time to question the audience. Answer the audience.
It's time for Q&A section. So participants are requested to ask their question in comment box, and we'll pin it to in screen, and our speakers will answer the question. So participants are requested to ask their question in comment box. Hello, ma'am, Ikra, ma'am, and Abu Hassan, sir. Sir, are you there? Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Yeah, Mohammed Abu Hassan, sir. Sir, are you there? Can you hear me? Sir, we have a question in the. You can see this question on your screen, right, sir? Gafur sir, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just pin a question on your screen. You can see the screen
Oh yeah.
question.
Okay.
Okay,
Is it
just
is it my time to answer it? In our
yeah, it's,
pandemic time
it's actually
nowadays,
time for
okay.
answer for all
Yep.
trainers, but some noises from Ikram ma'am, and some noises on Ikram ma'am side, and I saw that Mohammed Abu Hassan sir all in not in stream, so that is the
Okay.
point.
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
Um.
Hassan sir already in, and Ikram ma'am also. So all speakers are in a frame, and I from now I will just pin a question on your screen. On that time, just you will decide who will uh, solve the questions.
Yep.
Okay, sir.
Okay, okay.
Who will be answer the questions? Mr. Abu Hassan, it's yours.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hassan, sir. We can hear you. You are in mute.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
Yeah.
now I can hear you.
Perfect. I think that our young children, our young learners, I think that they love learning through gaming, learning through playing, through gamification. And this is game-based learning. That's why I think that if we can transform our traditional work, our worksheets, into digital ones, sharing them using maybe such platforms who deal with gamification like Kahoot, like quizzes, or other, or whatever inspiration finds you. We are here just only to empower every child everywhere through creativity, through technology. That's why you can just transform your teaching materials into gaming, into a game-based learning. And I think that you can share it using your learning management system, and the children are going time by time just to overcome their shyness and to engage, since remote learning is something regarding engagement. It is something about students' engagement, and we would like to make the learning and teaching process more engaging, more awesome, and at the same time to add some fun to it. And we would like to empower our children, our young learners, not only in our countries, but to empower everyone, everywhere through technology. So you can even transform your traditional way of learning into game-based learning using the technology. And your students are going to overcome the shyness and to feel relaxed time by time. Time by time. Just only try using gaming. They love it so much. My brother, can you hear me?
Hear you.
My brother, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I think Gafur sir also has some problem. Also, Ikram also same problem from network maybe. So you can continue. And next question on your screen.
Yeah, so, yes. You said that we are in high technology teaching. How would you handle a child, yes, who is very shy? I think this is the same one.
No. I
Yeah,
put a
next
question
one.
about
Yeah, next one.
ICT
I can see
improvement.
it right now. How the ICT improve the skills of the
Yes.
students? Okay. Of
Yes.
course, I think that Microsoft has provided teachers and the students with the tools, not only the tools, even with the resources needed, just only to empower our students using technology, and even we would like to just to implement the 21st century digital skills in our teaching process, in the learning process, just to encourage our students to promote their learning, their self-based learning through technology. And I think that the ICT, if we can share some kinds of topics with our students, it's like flipped classrooms. You are flipping your classrooms. Just only you are going to share some topics with your students as a kind of assignment, maybe some kinds of project, and you can create some kinds of rooms. We call it breakout rooms, maybe 5 or 6 students in each room. They are working together in a teamwork. They are collaborating together just only on one topic, and they are going to share with the other groups. I think that you can empower and your students, you have to learn, you have to put in mind that each student has a voice, and we as teachers, we have to amplify, we have to empower every voice. And I think that our students' voices can now be heard through what? Through technology, through the ICT. So you have just only to flip your classroom to share with your students the tools, the resources that they are going to use, and just only to engage them in some kinds of global projects, and to leave them work together in teamwork, in groups, since it's about collaboration, it's about connection, and they have to connect with each other. They have to collaborate with each other, and I think that they cannot do this. They cannot do this without technology. That's why I think ICT is a must right now to use with our students, not only in our countries, but with global students. Since our students has become global citizens, our students have become global citizens through technology. Thanks, Gloria. I hope you get my idea. Dr. Abdul Ghafoor?
Yep.
I think this one. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. I just give such additions on the explanation that already given by my brother Abu Hassan, dealing with how to handle student who shy. Yeah, assigning experienced teachers will sometimes is the most difficult students aren't do robotic ones, but a quiet kid surely it will be they may not disrupt our class, yeah, while you are giving such kind of interaction, but as educators we have responsibility to ensure that all students are engaged. Unfortunately, sometimes engagement is particularly difficult for sire student, I mean. So how we try to bring them in the process of teaching. In my mind come up try to bring the shy student to the front of the class. In online learning, we give them such kind of portions to give any kind of assignment that let the student pick their seats in such kind of class. Not only does the guarantee your class will be partitioned according to whatever click you based on your particular student's body is beholden, but also allows the shy student to hide. And the next suggestion will be call on student even by when they don't have their hand raised. I mean, occasionally it helps the flow of your teaching to get a quick answer from the fastest hand in the room. Most of the times, however, it's probably more helpful to give student a minute to think before they answer a question that you give to them. And the next one, try to get your extrovert to help. I mean, give extra time as teachers to give more attention to the student itself. In this case, over time, your less outgoing student want to participate, but they reserve natures. It can keep them from making the first step. Sometimes all this kid need is someone to extend such kind of friendly hands. I mean, they need such kind of more attentions. That is why the easiest way to get this student to engage with their senior classmate is to sit them next to each other. If you have put your shy student up front, save some room nearby for the student that more gifted in participation. And then try to always remember to involve them. I mean, someone who's shy, the student who's shy. If we always remember them as a teacher, it will be has that kind of more attention to the student itself, that the students think the teacher always give more attention to the student itself. And then just take a minute to talk to them one-on-ones or face-to-face to make sure that they are really stay with us in the material itself. Although by using any kind of such kind of Skypes and any kind of ICT or smart devices, that today is easier for the teachers to connect with the student itself. Okay, I think that's all my additional explanations. I'm back to moderators. For the next questions. Yeah, the next question, dear brother Abu Hassan. What are the challenges you encounter in integrating technology or ICT in education? How you manage those challenges, and what recommendation can you suggest for us? Okay, you first to answer.
Okay, of course, we have so many challenges that we have faced here in our country, Bahrain, regarding the use of technology. Of course, one of the most important challenges that we face here is the internet connection. Not all of our students have access to the internet. Not all of our students have their own devices. That's why the Ministry of Education here in Bahrain have given our students most of our students have given them some laptops, even some internet access. That's why we try very hard to face such challenges when you are connecting to our your students online. When you are having an online session with your student, some of them cannot join you. Even some of them don't have the internet access or very bad connection to join your session. That's why we try very hard to use our learning management system, which is the EduNet, just only to share various materials, various digital tests, even the activities, even assignments, classroom discussions. They are virtual discussions like chatting. Also, we are sharing some quizzes, some videos, the various materials, not only the materials, but the feedback as well. That's why we are using our LMS just only to share everything, even the feedback, and we would like to engage and to put power into the parents' hands, to engage them in the learning and teaching process. By doing this, students who cannot join you during the live classroom session, they can watch the session since it's recorded. It's recorded. So they can watch it even at another time. They can watch it several times, even during the weekends. Not only live, but they can use it, they can watch it on demand. By doing this, you can change, you can overcome such changes for those, especially for those who have no ability to join you live. So they can watch the session in another time when they have an access to the internet. That's why I advise you just only to use the learning management system, just only to share everything with your students, to have access to them even after your live meeting, your virtual meeting with them. So what do you think, Dr. Abdul Ghafoor? What do you think? Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I agree with you. I give you such kind of a little bit of explanation or additional example, such kind of example. The process of education by using ICD in Indonesia dealing with the challenge. Um, in Indonesia, while ICD continues to advance, where it has penetrated many sectors, including the communication that use in the process of teaching during the pandemic. The first one will be lack of qualified teacher to teach ICD in school. Yeah, the lack of qualified teachers use smart devices. It is something that the most challenge. The demand of for ICT learning has been tremendous, and the number of teachers who are trained to teach by ICT cannot meet um, the demands. I mean, the process of teaching will be some kind of cultural shock when the teachers should use such kind of ICT in the pandemics such today's era. And the second one, lacks of computers. Not all the students at home, not all the student at home has such kind of computers or any kind of smart devices. So in this case, when the teachers deliver the material, then what should be done if the infrastructure is not support them in the process of teaching itself? And I'm agree with my brother Abu Hassan dealing with the internet, the quota of the internet that only reach on the center of the city. When dealing with the urbans and also the suburban, it is something that a vacuum in Indonesia. Yeah, in suburban I mean, but in the city will be
Dr. Abdul Ghafoor, can you hear me?
it's okay. I would like to suggest you dealing with this one as a teachers. I mean, as a teacher, we try to use any kind of smart devices that could reach our student. For example, if we are going to use such kind of StreamYard and then Zoom and Skype and others, that it is not familiar with our student, we could use any kind of social media that familiar with them, such kind of WhatsApp and sharing with Facebook and others. It is something that we have to think how to deliver the material to our students as easy as possible. I think that's all my additional explanations.
I think, Dr. Abdul Ghafoor, even a cell phone can make a huge difference.
Yep. In this case, it is my own experiences. My own experience when I have to use Zoom meeting, for example. Okay, I have to think how much quota that used by the student. For example, for 1 hours. Okay, for 1 hours, 1 gigabyte will be spent to joining in my material, and I have to think that how much money that should be spent by my student to joining with my material. So in this case, I have to know what kind of ICT that is, or smart devices that relay it is easier enough for our student in my country.
Yes.
The next questions.
Absolutely.
And if
For
I
the next
add in
questions.
And if I add in this question how effective a technology-based instruction if a certain area is not technologically aware, then when we are talking about the technology have the both impact positive and the negative effects also. When we are implementing it in the educational and the educational environments, we must have to train our students. We are facing lots of issue of it. Students are not aware of the usage of the technology. We must have to give that training for that particular technologies that we are using in our educational settings. We have to train them through the seminars, through the workshops, through the different conferences. We must have to give them the instructions before implementing it. We must have to give them the access towards the technologies. We have to give them the access and the training before implementing it in our educational institutions. It's my perspective that I think so that the technology must have have to implement side by side with the trainings also. Can any can anyone hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, we can hear you. So they're asking about the best online platform that we use to cope with just only blended learning. Okay, let me for first add something which Dr. Abdul Ghafoor has just mentioned, which is you have to deliver your own material with the way that suits your students. You have to put in mind that all your students are not coming from the same background. They are from different backgrounds. Some of them are rich, some of them are poor, some of them have access to the internet, have access to their own devices. Some of them has no access at all to the internet or even to their devices. Even if you can ask your students, do you have even a mobile phone? You can say, no, teacher, I don't have a mobile phone. So how can you deal with them?
Yeah.
We have, as Dr. Abdul mentioned, you have to deliver. You have to share your own material with your students with the way that suits you, that best suits you and your students as well. Maybe you can have some kinds of groups on Messenger, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. But for me, and for our students here in Bahrain, we deal with this with blended learning. We have such kinds of blended learning, and we mainly use Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams, even you can upload it, even you can download it, you can install Microsoft Teams on your mobile phone. Even a cell phone, you can have this kind of Microsoft platform. You can install Microsoft Teams where you can share everything with your students. You can share resources. You can share your today's lessons. You can share even the schedule for the coming meetings with your students, since we are having meetings, online meetings with our students nearly every day. That's why you can share the various activities, materials, feedback, quizzes, videos, everything you can imagine. You can share using Microsoft Teams. Sometimes even you can have such kinds of video conferencing with your students. You can have such kinds of chatting. Can you imagine that? Even that time, while I'm talking to you, even my students are sending me messages using Microsoft Teams chat. They are using the chat box, sending me messages, asking for things that they can see that it's difficult for them to understand. That's why I can share everything. I can answer them whenever I have time using the chat on Microsoft Teams or using our LMS or learning management system to have some kinds of discussions. We have some kinds of weekly discussions with our students on Microsoft Teams or our LMS. That's why you can cope with your blended learning, your online learning, even not only blended learning or online learning, but even in the face-to-face teaching, as Dr. Abdul said. That's why you have to check. You have to check the platform that suits your students. Maybe the platform that suits me may not suit you. So you have to check. Hey, you. I cannot see. I cannot tell you, or I cannot recommend a platform, a specific platform for you. Maybe you can see that you cannot use it with your students. It's difficult for them. That platform, your students have some kinds of difficulties in installing it in their own devices. That's why it's you who have to decide which platform suits you and your students in connecting, in collaborating, in sharing. You have to think with your students, which one would you like to use? Which one would you like to share? Which one would you like to connect? Which one would you like to collaborate? So what suits me doesn't mean that it suits you. You have to choose what suits you to deliver your own material with your own students. I think that Dr. Abdul Ghafoor agrees with me in this.
Yeah, for those pandemic, what is the best strategy to innovate? Yeah, I back to my explanation for the first one that if we are talking about the best strategy, one another will be different each other. In this case, we have to know first our students. We have to know first our classroom situation, the atmosphere of the classroom. Okay, I suggest one's best that is good with my class, but actually it will be differ in the other cultures. So in this case, as already explained by my brother, Dr. Abu Hassan, that if we try to use such kind of strategy or such kind of smart device or application, it is best for him, but it will be not for the other one. So in this case, we have to know for the situation where we are teaching, where we are delivering the material. For example, my brother, Dr. Abu Hassan, who use such kind of Microsoft theme. But in my situation, it will be difficult for me to use such kind of Microsoft theme. And I use handphones with the application of WhatsApp to make easier giving delivering the material. So in this case, I used to check one by one, giving one slide to other slide, explaining, check by using some kind of voice note and others to make sure that my student is understand enough with the material. So again, I have to remind you that the strategy that I use will be different when we are going to try to apply in the other place or the other country, because we have different situation and also different condition of the school itself.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for your beautiful presentation as well. And I saw that it's a more attractive and interactive session. It was actually uh, some of my point is that This is so much important nowadays. Is so much important. This pedagogical or issues or innovation. Innovation is always a super word, which related with something mind
Yeah.
blowing. Innovation? What is some actually some mind blowing word? One of them. Uh, in this case, I personally I learned something new about with innovation and application also in about ICT, and I saw that when I focused on my comment section, I saw that lots of thank you note for you guys, which is very attract which is very interesting to for our audience, to you guys. And we see the Ikra ma'am also here. I'm very happy to complete the session with you guys. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. Thank you so much. Hopefully, see you again in another session, and definitely we will see you in 19 March with MOU signing occasion.
Oh yeah. That's actually my event for
Yeah, I saw
19th
that.
19th of
I saw
March.
that.
Okay.
I saw that.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for
And
joining us.
Kiran sir already sent me the details, and I saw that on WhatsApp.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Thank
that's why I
you.
say that I will meet you again in 19 March.
Alhamdulillah.
With
Alhamdulillah.
a great opportunity for me, sir. Actually, really great
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for me to collaborate
Yeah.
with 20 Indonesian universities. It's a great
Okay. Thank
opportunity.
you. Thank you.
And thank you
Yeah.
so much, sir. See you again. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you, Mahmoud Abu Hassan, sir.
Thank
And
you so
sir,
much, my
again,
dear. Thank you so much, my dear brother. Thank you so much, Dr. Abdul Ghafoor, Dr. Ikra,
Yeah.
and I thank you so much for all the participants who made our international webinar a huge success. Thank you so much for Dr. Andy and Dr. Mutmainna, and of course, Mr. Mohammed Galal for having me, for inviting me to be a part of this amazing and international virtual webinar. And I wish you all the best. Thanks a lot, Dr. Abdul Ghafoor. It was a pleasure to be a
Yeah.
part of your event. Thank you, Dr.
Afwan.
Ikra.
Afwan. Afwan. Thank you. And next meeting we meet again in the other events.
yeah,
For
definitely,
sure,
Inshallah.
for sure.
definitely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all. Thank you so much for appreciating me and calling me here. Thank you so much for the Dr. Mutmaina and Dr. Andy, and also you and all the participants here who hear us and make us learn more and more things with you and Dr. Abu Hassan and Dr. Abdul Ghafoor. I learned lots of things from you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Dear audience, dear participants, for today's certification is also the same procedure. You have to log in our website www.edu.igp.com, and link also share in comment box. You can see. So you don't need any code. Just click on the program and click enroll. After that, click the same button. Get your certificate. Is it possible? Those who are from mobile, you can use it the same procedure, no problem.
Thank you all and goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu
Thank
alaikum
you.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.